listening to Free Talk with MrB.
Hello again, and welcome. This is MrB on Free Talk with MrB. Our guest today is bringing us through one experience. The experience we'll say is, as I titled the episode, Was It Real? There's so much we needed to know about what happened during the COVID-19, and this is just one experience from someone in one part of the world. This is Free Talk, and let's get right into it. Free Talk with MrB.
Hand washing, cleaning surfaces with bleach, staying staying at least 6 feet away from where we live. There's a gardener and a driver, so basically keeping the distance, wearing a mask.
Yeah, and I mean, where we were, we had deliveries coming to the door, and I would get wet wipes and wipe the handle of the bag that the person was holding on to the handle. And so I was like, okay, he's going to touch it here. And when I took the items out of the bag, okay, let me see. I can wash the fruits and vegetables. This is a package like a bag of sugar. I'm going to wipe the outside of the bag of sugar. And one by one, we left everything in the door and took it in one by one after we wiped it. So it was not just you. Who did you stay away from the furthest? Let's say let's make a funny out of this one. The gardener or the driver?
The driver was quite savvy. He was quite well informed, and he was very cautious too. He was extremely cautious. He packed his kids, his wife and kids, his family away, and he stayed alone because in the city he lived in a pretty crowded part of Nairobi. So he packed them away to his hometown where there were less people and they had space and all. The gardener was, less educated, but he had access. The driver kept informing him, this is what you should do, that's what you should do, and stuff. And then I kept giving them hot spicy pepper soup.
Oh, said that'll burn their lungs, right?
No, not enough to burn their lungs. Just it was comforting to eat something spicy and feel like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pepper soup for we feel like pepper soup helps with the flu. So
Right.
This is supposed to be like an advanced kind of flu. So yeah.
Yeah, if there's anything, it will spark up the cardiovascular so they can have some energy to do things. This is all of this is quite amazing. And I was telling you myself that I had a OCD habits before this of hand washing, never touching the elevators with the buttons with the tip of my finger, holding the door.
I learned how to use my elbow.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that we tend to, before masks, we tend to touch the corner of our mouths, our eyes. We put our fingers on our noses near it. And I was like, no. We all learned how not to touch our face because of the contamination possibilities.
Yeah,
and so people who had these habits before were lucky, and people who didn't have these habits had to learn these new habits of being cautious of what we do. Even now, today, I think my Apple Watch, there is an app on it that comes on automatically when I wash my hands, and it's counting down 20 seconds. I was like, oh, Lord. And so I was like, I'm already finished washing my hand, and the countdown is still going. I have to pretend I'm still washing my hand so it can go away. So it's a new world. It's definitely a new world, and full of new challenges. For a couple of things, what's your plans for the future? And if you were going back to your school, and you can incorporate these together. If you're going back to your school, they wanted you to be a guest speaker to kind of motivate them, encourage them, and tell them about something they should look out for in their lives. What would you tell your university class or your high school class or anything that you were invited back to? What do you want them to know?
Okay. Let me see. I'll tell them, okay, I think it wouldn't be university. I would actually prefer to address my high school, like kids in my high school, and it would be to tell them I'm from a developing country, so there's this emphasis on looking for the most, should I use the most financially rewarding job, but I would tell people to actually follow their passion. Yeah, I would tell people, I know there's this emphasis, maybe because it's a country with a lot of human resources, a lot of natural resources, and it's mismanaged. Everybody is people are chasing paper and not exactly their dreams. And I would tell people, like, I'm doing what I love now, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, I spent my early years chasing money, like doing stuff. I enjoyed it, but I was doing it mostly because I needed to pay my way, But now, what I do now is I design leather goods.
Oh, wow.
Right? And yeah, so I make bags and belts, and I used to make shoes back in Nigeria, but I will get back to that. But I'm growing-ish. I'm growing slowly and stuff. And I would tell people, like, it doesn't feel like work to me designing stuff. I enjoy it. It's me seeing stuff and being inspired by maybe colors or shapes. Basically, right now, what it is, my biggest inspiration is geometry. So, and I grew up not liking maths at all. So now I enjoy it. I enjoy the calculations. I enjoy standing in front of a leather worker, someone who makes bags, and explaining stuff to him and telling me, and him saying, this is not possible, and me showing it's possible from, putting it together. And I would always tell people, do what you love, and not Nigerian parents. I don't know if they still do it. I don't have kids, but usually Nigerian parents would want their kids to be doctors or lawyers or engineers, even if the kids do not have that skill. I grew up knowing I was supposed to be a doctor, but in my, we used to have something called junior secondary. So you have 6 years of primary school, and then you have 6 years of high school. And the junior secondary ends at year 3, and then you get into senior secondary. And in my junior secondary third year, I discovered I didn't like chemistry, and I didn't like physics.
Right.
So I basically had to. Meanwhile, from kindergarten, my parents had told me I was going to be a doctor. They wanted me to be a doctor. They had already split the professions. My sister would be a lawyer. She became a lawyer. She gave in.
Okay.
I was going to be a doctor, and my brother would be an engineer. And I didn't have passion. I used to write on the back of my textbooks. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be an interior decorator. I was arty. I used to write stories, and I was more arty than there was no need pushing me towards the sciences.
Right.
Yeah, there was no need. There was absolutely no need. I had no interest in that. And I wish I'd realized that earlier, because that would have made my life easier.
And that's what I just got to say. It would have been really nice if you knew this early, because very early,
yeah.
And if someone allowed you to follow your passion very early, you'd have had more success, because sometimes we have that fight. We're fighting to be mechanical, and when we're artists, right? And the geometry of leather that you stand before you saying, look, I'm an artist. I could make that leather bend to my will. Geometrically. And so I loved that. I had such an enjoyable time talking to you on this podcast. Will you come back on and join us at another time with a subject that you...
Of course I would. I am enjoying it too. I didn't realize that. I told you I was a little nervous. But This is really good.
Yeah, because it's a conversation. I want people to speak freely, and I want them to come back on with subjects that really matter to them, and invite their friends over, and they could.
I will. I would share. I will share the link to friends so they can
Very
listen.
good, and then they could get on to wherever they find their podcasts. Right now, we're on Google and Apple and Spotify and elsewhere, and they can subscribe and download the episodes, and it'll. Again, we plan to post episodes every week. And so we hope everyone will have a weekend, an enjoyable weekend listening. So thank you so much for coming on. And I really look forward to having you on again on Free Talk with
Thank
Mr.
you
B.
very much. I enjoyed it too.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Great. And really looking forward to your new subjects. Talk to you later. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Free Talk with Mr. B. Please remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.